Welcome everybody, is your boy is Nefarious, and I am here with another team report for the New England Patriots of the Premier Madden League. So last time we spoke, it was before the Jets game, I believe, or yeah, it should have been before the Jets game. Um, or maybe it wasn't. I would have to go back and look. When did me and Jets play? Hold on one second. This is probably shit I should have looked at before I started this, but let me take a look real quick. So we played Saturday. Nope, we didn't. It was after the Browns game or right before the Browns game, and I did a team breakdown of the Browns. Um, so this is the Week 13 team report. Even though we're in Week 14, the weeks are getting shorter and shorter. The league owner, JT, as you all know, is trying to get a couple more seasons in before Madden 20. So let's dive right into this real quick. We're going to take a look at the game that we played against the Jets. That's the first thing we're going to do. Alright, as you see here, we beat the Jets 38-17. We pretty much had it from the get-go. First quarter, 7 points. We were tied at 7 at the end. I scored 21 in the second. He scored 3, and then I finished out with 10 in the third and the fourth combined. As you can see, offensive yards gained. I had that. Rush yards. I had that. Pass yards. First downs. I pretty much owned all the categories as far as offensive yards and pretty much offensive yards and touchdowns and points scored. That's what you need to win, obviously. Total yards gain, as I said, led in that category. I also had no turnovers to history. Third down conversions, I was able to convert a few more than he was. He had a couple fourth down conversions. I don't even remember them. That's how long ago it was. I was able to get into the end zone every time I got into the red zone. As you can see, 3 red zone TDs. And then 1 field goal. So I was able to get points in every red zone opportunity. I didn't have any penalties. He had 1 penalty, and as you can see, I dominated in a time of possession, 25 minutes to his 14, so I had over 10 minutes of additional time than he did. Let's take a look at the player stats real quick. So we got Dylan McCaffrey, who has come in for the injured Kyle Shurmur. I'll go into the injury report next, but he's out for some time. So Dylan McCaffrey, I think, will be finishing the season for us, unless he starts to perform badly. But first game back, first game as a starter since week 1. Completed over 75% of his passes, 76. About 12 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns, and 253 yards. I think that is a perfect QBR. I gotta look at that. Maybe it's 156. It's either near perfect or perfect. QBR right there. Sam Darnold. Jared Goff, the recent signee, had a rough game. Only over 200 yards, a couple interceptions, only completed 50% of his passes, and had a 44 rating. So let's take a look at the rushing numbers. Justice Hill led all running backs with yardage, 122 yards. He had a long of 59, so a chunk of his yards came off that run. I maintained him for the most part. As you can see, he had that long run, and I think he had a couple others. But my main goal was to try to limit his passing game, which with the mutant, if you would say, Terrell Shavers. I tried to at least limit him, the 6'6", 97 speed wideout. I did a decent job of that. He ended up getting some garbage yards towards the end of the game when he was all out passing. But other than that, I was able to limit him through the first couple quarters, at mostly the first half, and then I think it limited him in the third quarter, and then in the fourth he got a couple catches, got a little bit of yardage, some garbage time type stuff. Bryce Love had a great game, 7.5 yards per carry, touchdown. His long was a 26. Sean Shivers also got into the action, 10 rushes for 56 yards and a touchdown. His long was a 24. Najee Harris, I gave him 1 carry. Didn't get anything, and I said that's pretty much it for him. Najee Harris looks to be close to out the door soon. So we'll see what happens. Max Borghi, who's got the star rating. I want to get him going, but with Sean Shivers and both Bryce Love and Sean Shivers both performing well, I don't see Max Borghi getting into those numbers. He'll get into the passing game. He had 3 catches for 3 yards, so he didn't really affect the passing game. So Tyrell Shavers, like I said, he's a mutant, 97 speed. I went to the Jets. He's got 97 speed at 6'6", 221. He's got a superstar development. I don't know if anybody's been keeping track, but he's up to a mid-80s now in overall. I believe he was a 75 to start the season. Now he's in the mid-80s. So he's getting up there and getting up there quick. 5 receptions, 76 yards. Like I said, for the first, like, 2.5 quarters, maybe 3, I was able to contain him and keep him from breaking out into, the monster he is. He tried to throw deep a couple times. Jamel Dean was locked up with him, and Jamel Dean did an awesome job neutralizing him at the least. Felton Davis was able to get himself going, as you can see, 4 receptions, 70 yards, and a touchdown. He hasn't been much of the offense so far this year. I'm going to try to get him more involved now. It's probably a little too late, but he's my best wide receiver. I got to get him more involved. Him and Trevon Grimes both had a great game. Trevon, as you could see, had a couple of touchdowns. One was a 75-yard long touchdown. Threw over the middle, hit him with one spin move, and he was gone with that 94 speed. And there's really nothing else. Rob Gronkowski had a nice 52-yard catch on a post route that he was able to beat the safety with, I believe, or it might have been a linebacker. But he was able to get a step, and I hit him. I hit him with a little pass, which set us up in the red zone. And then I think I topped that off with a Trevon Grimes curl route for a touchdown, high point touchdown. Sacks. Looks like the only sack was for me. Well, I don't believe that. There's probably other sacks, but the only offensive lineman to give up a sack was Isaiah Prince. The Jets didn't really get much pressure. It was like night and day compared to the Browns and the Jets. The Browns was in my office all day. Like I had no time to think, no time to throw, and it just really, it's either I run the ball or I get sacked. Like no routes could develop. I probably should have threw a lot more underneath stuff and hope for yards after the catch. But it's a little too late to think about that now. As you can see, leading tacklers, Levante David for the Jets, and then you had Devin White for New England, which is the usual. He's all over the place, always getting tackles. Vic Beasley with the sack, and we had another sack, a combined sack between Malik McDowell and Devin White. So it was only me that got sacks, and I'm not really surprised. I don't remember the game exactly, but I know he wasn't getting any pressure. Like I said, I had a shit ton of time. Harrison Smith was able to grab another interception. He had a big pick 6 last week against the Browns, which proved to be our only score. And then Abdul Malik McClain got into the action in this week. It was a little user lurk. I kind of shaded Terrell Shavers a little bit, and he loves Terrell Shavers, so he tried to force him, and I was able to get underneath that and grab that. Deflections, we had a bunch. Doesn't really matter, but that's about it. Was there a safety in this game? No, there wasn't. I think there was one last week. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. Dylan McCaffrey had a great game. Jared Goff played like shit. My defense was playing well. His defense couldn't get to Dylan McCaffrey to make him uncomfortable. So the rookie was able to sit in there with poise and deliver the ball all over the field. I mean, he completed 76 of his passes, so he wasn't really troubled much. And having a good running game is big on that. So that was a great help. Let's take a look at my injury report, like I was gonna do. So as you can see, I got Kyle Shurmur out for 6 weeks, so he's pretty much out for the rest of the season. I don't see me making a playoffs. We'll take a look at that next. I don't see me making a playoff, so I put him on IR, and I picked up a corner on my practice squad to make sure that nobody could, nab him on me. Let's take a look at the standings. So let's take a quick look at the AFC East. Nobody cares about the rest of the league. So the only chance I have, given that the Colts and the Jags, and then also you got the Browns. So the Browns, Bengals, Colts, or Jags, they'll be fighting for well, Jags and Colts will be fighting for the division, but whoever doesn't get the division out of the South will be fighting with the Browns and the Bengals for the 2 wild card spots. So 2 out of those 3 will make it. I don't think anybody in the AFC East will get a wild card spot. It will go to somebody in the AFC South and maybe to both the Browns and Bengals in the AFC North. So that's the only 3 teams that are really, well, only 3 possible teams really in it for that. So the only chance I have of making a playoffs is if the Bills lose 2-3 more games, and then I would need the Dolphins and Jets both to lose 2 more games as well. So it's a miracle if I make the playoffs, and it's not happening. I already come to grips with that. I'm out of the playoffs. I'm pretty much playing spoiler. I am not going to throw this season. I don't care where I pick. I think you get value at any slot in this draft just by the way JT has the system. I don't think it really matters where you draft. I mean, for certain you get those sure hit prospects like Tua, who went to the Dolphins, and then you got Kyler Murray, who went to the Giants, but you're also able to get some superstars and stars later in the draft. I guess I got more of a Bill Belichick approach compared to other general managers. I find the quality and quantity like Bill Belichick. So let's take a look at one other thing. Actually, I think so. Let's take a look at any position changes that might go down. I mean, I haven't really dove into it after the Jets game. After a good game, you don't really make many changes. As you can see, both Bryce Love and Najee Harris, they were both 83 overalls before the Jets game. Recently, they just got a boost, so they're both up to 84. Najee, it's been a waste so far. Maybe I'll give him a couple more carries next game, and hopefully he could get going. Trevon Grimes is the new number 3. I don't know if I've showed that before. He's getting good confidence. Good confidence going right now. He might even hop over A.J. Brown, but A.J. Brown's been playing so well. I think he's our leading receiver. We'll take a look at the stats next. Rob Gronkowski, nobody's really taking that spot. Isaac Weaver has been great this year, and he's playing that left tackle. You got Kelechi Osemele, who's been playing well as well. I mean, my offensive line has been all right. Besides that Browns game where I got manhandled, but I think one of the problems was putting Tristan Crowder above Aaron Hagler and thinking that I could survive. I guess I was looking more for a run game than a passing game. But then when it came to pass, I was screwed. I should have made a sub once I started passing the ball. But you live and you learn. So next time I know to keep the pass blocker in because I know I'm going to get into those passing situations or sub them in for passing situations. One change right here, I had Malik McDowell in as a left end, but I've been doing some content on Tadaro Slayton, so I was able to get his power moves up to 91 so far. His play recognition is almost at 70. I maxed out for this season. His block shed's at 82. I put him in at left end because I focus on 3-4 a lot more than I do anything else. Against the Jets, I did do a lot of 4-6 and 5-2 because he does love to run the ball. So it was pretty much of me playing heavy sets and using the side that Shavers is on, and pretty much shadowing Shavers as I played the heavy sets and hope that my heavy set was able to stop the run while I was focusing on a pass with Shavers. Trey Flowers is still the right end. So Malcolm Brown is kind of lost his spot. He jumps in when we go to a 4-3 or when we go to a 4-6 or a 5-2. He's able to get in there, but he's kind of on limited snaps. I kind of got a conundrum here. I love Tadaro Slayton and I want to play Trey Flowers, but then I know Malcolm Brown with his 94 I think block shed. Yeah, 94 block shed. I don't know why it was so hard to find that. 94 block shed. So he's a beast in that category. Josh Watson still holding on to that left outside linebacker slot. He's dropping into a coverage more than rushing the passer, but when he has rushed the passer, he's got like 5 or 6 sacks on the season. Devin White's still that number one. McLean, I'm still working on with content, but one day he will overtake Sampson. I keep Sampson in there because he's better against the run for me at this moment. He's got better pursuit, better block shed, better tackling. His hit power is the same, so that's nothing. But yeah, so until I'm able to get him up there a little more, I pretty much sub him in passing downs. Right outside linebacker, Vic Beasley. He's kind of cooled off. He hasn't got as many sacks. He probably gets one here and there, but he hasn't been as high as he was between like weeks 2 and week 6 or whatever, where he had 5 one game, then he would have 3, then he would have 4. He was on fire at one point. As far as corners, I'm surprised Jamel Dean's confidence is that low. 48. It's probably a team thing, but he's been playing awesome. He's been locked down for me. As everybody knows in the chat, I love Jamel Dean. He's been the man for me. I built his man coverage to 88. His zone coverage is up to 81. Isaac Taylor Stewart, who should be up here, but I think that's because I signed that corner that I didn't want anybody to take, the 6'3" corner. So Isaac Taylor Stewart, I've been working on. I got his man coverage up to 82 and his zone coverage up to 74. I also got an XP roll for him, so that helped a little bit, but most of that's through content. And with his speed and his size, I love that. 6'2" on one side, they're both the exact same size, 6'2", 208, 6'2", 208. So it's pretty much the same guy on each side. I mean, he's a step slower than Jamel Dean. Jamel Dean's just a freakish athlete, but He does the job. Harrison Smith has been awesome for me. That hit power is coming in handy. That big hit ability to cause incomplete passes has been awesome. My defense really lacked that, especially on post routes. Um, Mainly against teams like the Bills and those type of guys that like to use the post routes over the middle. Harrison Smith's over there now, and he rocks dudes and causes interceptions. So that's been awesome. Strong safety, Butter Baker. He's been kind of in there the whole season. His confidence is really feeling it. So Devin McCourty might get in there, given that Devin McCourty's got. Yeah, I think I might make that change, even though he's more athletic. Let me see here. I think I'm gonna do it this way. So Devin McCourty, I think I'm gonna put here, and then for strong safety, move him up, because he's going out. Harrison Smith's gonna move over to strong safety, and then we're gonna have Devin McCourty at the free safety position, his normal position. Put Netherly as a backup there. Has good size, so maybe gets in there once or twice, and we'll see how he works out. Third down running back, still Max Borghi. Like I said, he's got the star potential, so I want to get him involved. I don't know how much involved I'm going to get him, but I definitely want to get him at least a little involved to get him some XP. That star potential, I wouldn't mind building him, even though he's not as fast as Bryce Love or Sean Shivers. I think he'd still be valuable for me, especially if he develops right. Sorry about that. 1 second. Alright. Trevon Grimes has been the slot, but I think I'm going to change that. Or I might leave it. I think I've just been subbing within the game. Whatever the route calls for, then I'll make the adjustment then. Doesn't really matter who's a slot. Just calls for more manual subs during the game. Sub linebacker. Slot corner. Jordan Lewis has been in slot most of the season. But that pretty much does it. So a few changes to the depth chart. Dylan McCaffrey had a great game, so hopefully he continues that. He's got a quick development, so out of all the quarterbacks, he's the one that has the most potential with his quick. Shea Patterson and Kyle Schumer both have normal, so neither of them are really developing as quick. Dylan McCaffrey has a chance as long as I'm able to get him some XP, and I'll keep building my guys through content, since I can't build them through a performance like my boy Natural or guys like that who are at the top of the league, who usually get XP just based on awards and stuff like that. My awards is content. So that's gonna do it for this team video. I'll do another team video in a couple minutes. I'll break down my matchup against the Broncos, even though it's gonna be a fair sim. I'll go into what I would have planned on doing and all that, and just tune into that one if you want to get a little in-depth look at the Broncos, or a coaching look at the Broncos, and maybe you could give me some constructive criticism on how I would game plan against him. Alright, this is Nefarious. I'll see you in a bit.